Oh boy, the debate. Can we get it over with already? What do you think's going to happen at the debate? I'm a little bit sick of it. I am a little annoyed it's on CNN. I'm a lot annoyed that it's on CNN. This could be a huge catastrophe. I'm not going to spend too much time on the debate, but this just came in. Breaking news, if you will. CNN demonstrating how this whole mute mic thing is going to work. Check it out.
If we go behind the podiums, you can see two green lights. When they're on, they signal to the candidate his microphone is on. When the green lights are off, they signal to the candidate his microphone is off. Now I want to give you a sense of what it will look like for viewers at home if a candidate whose microphone is off interrupts a candidate whose microphone is on. So I'm standing at one podium, and I'll ask Phil to come in and take the other podium. And so let's say I'm answering a question. My light is green, and I'm speaking. Phil's microphone is off, and his green lights are not illuminated. He's going to interrupt me as I'm speaking, and this is what it will sound like. My volume remains constant, while Phil's interruption can be difficult to understand.
Now, let's try the opposite. My microphone is now on. Victor's microphone is off, and he's going to interrupt me. My volume remains constant, while Victor's interruption can be difficult to understand. Now, CNN's production team has shared this demonstration with the campaigns earlier today, and we're sharing it with you.
And the campaign, at least the Trump campaign, should have thrown you out of the office. What the hell is this? I bet the moderators, you guys aren't going to be muted, are you? Huh? My microphone will not be muted. Who the hell is this guy to shut down a president of the United States? Who is he? A kid with a haircut. This is ludicrous. It's going to be so bad. Aristotle and Socrates, we know how to do a debate. They've been doing it for thousands of years. Are you upset? All right. It's almost over. Tomorrow night, this time. Oh, by the way, I'll be home watching it, okay? Special coverage, and I'll be home watching the debate. All right, meanwhile, other stuff going on. Sketchy stuff. Did you know that Joe Biden refinanced his homes 35 times? 35 refinancing lines of credit for the two homes he's owned in Delaware for the past, 50 years. 35 times, 50, that's crazy. Nobody does that. You refinance every now and then, but 35 times? Yeah, the first one, the DuPont estate that he bought when he was 35 years old, totally suspicious how he afforded the biggest house in the state. He refinanced that thing 15 times over 20 years. And the most recent house, the one he actually still goes to on the weekends in Delaware, 20 times. 20 times since then. This is insane. Who does this? Talk about. So the Daily Mail, the UK Daily Mail, they're terrific on this stuff, took a look at it. And that Joe Biden has a habit of negotiating a new mortgage or credit deal on both homes every 17 months on average. Wow. The Bidens have borrowed a total of $6 million on both properties. Damn. The constant refinancing raises the question of why the Bidens, who have a reported net worth of $10 million, needed a constant flow of extra cash. Yeah, good question. Many of these lines of credit deals lasted just a few months before being paid off. Then the Bidens moved on to the next refinance deal. How weird is this? Joe Biden was supposed to be getting by on that government salary, right? Because he was just Scranton Joe and had a reputation for being dirt poor.
I was listed for all the years I was a senator as the poorest man in the United States Congress.
I had the dubious distinction of being listed as the poorest man in Congress for 36 years.
I had the great pleasure of being listed as the poorest man in Congress for 36 years.
All right, I know getting loans all the time might suggest, okay, financial trouble or you need it. No, there's something else going on here. All the stuff that Joe accumulated while he was in government, right? I mean, it doesn't make sense. And also his lust, his own words, his passion for things, for real estate, for property. Even as a kid, I'd been seduced by real estate. He wrote that in one of his two very poorly selling memoirs, A Lust, Seduced by Real Estate. Wow. And he really did have a thing. Check this out. This is a book that came out in the early 1990s. It's about all the candidates who ran for president in 1988. Joe Biden was one of them. And man, his big mouth and his lust for the finer things got him in big trouble. Take a look.
his older son, Bo, was getting ready for college, and Hunter, the second son, was just a year behind. And of course, Joe hasn't got cash. Whatever he gets, the house eats for breakfast. That house loves cash. So that's why Joe decided he had to have another house. This time it was 17 acres, a $1.1 million estate, an enormous main house with a sauna in the master bath, a swell apartment over the 4-car garage, and the outdoor pool had a separate cabana that was itself like a nice suburban home. And then there was the tennis house with the other sauna and the indoor pool and, of course, the indoor tennis court.
You get the sense that when Joe's running around talking about how poor he is, it might be just to cover up something. That's a lot of stuff for a guy who has no money. Next, please.
It was a compound. It was Hyannisport. He could see the goddamn thing in Life magazine. He could just about lay out the photos right now. Touch football on the grass, the house fuzzy in the background, him and his brothers and the boys, sharp in white, no, blue jeans, with Bowie running out for a pass which Joe would throw on a line, tight spiral, maybe catch the damn ball spinning in the air if the photographer was any good. The Bidens. First family.
His fantasizing is taking place in the 1980s. And he sees himself as a Kennedy, right? They're going to be like the Kennedy, right? The thing about the Kennedys, they were rich. They had been rich for about a century, all right? And Joe had no money, but he was fixated on getting the stuff. How did he get it? How did he get all that stuff? Back to the book.
So Ridley and Donnellan came up to Wilmington that night, 1 week into 1987, to tell Joe he couldn't buy the new house. Actually, they had a few things to straighten out. For instance, was Joe going to run? They couldn't seem to get a clear answer. If so, what was he doing for the last 2 weeks on vacation in Hawaii with Pat Cadell? And if he meant to run, what the hell was he trying to pull with a $1.1 million house? Look, Senator, Ridley said earnestly, in the mind of a voter, there's no way you get from a senator's $75,000 a year to $1.5 million estate. 1.1, Joe said absently. I said I could sell it for $1.5 million. 1.1, 1.5, whatever you say, it doesn't matter. You can't run as a Democrat, a guy who's in touch with middle-class values, when you're on TV in your indoor tennis court. How the hell do we explain it? You can't. You don't know what this is like. You can't explain to everybody. Things just come out. Everything comes out.
Weirdly, it really hasn't totally come out yet, huh? What the hell happened here? Why was he flirting with a $1.5 million house when he had no money? How did he do this stuff? How did he get that stuff? The rich guy. It wasn't from the books. That's his excuse. These 2 rotten books. This is how he said he was able to get all of these things, the houses. No, that's not it. This is how it happened, all right? Through the family, through his sister, through his 2 brothers, and yeah, through his son, all right? It was a scam. They were laundering money, essentially. Everybody knows it. The House Oversight Committee, they have established it. Rudy Giuliani, it's been established. Hasn't it? Watch this.
Hi, I'm Valerie Biden Owens, and I am the sister of the next Democratic nominee for President of the United States.
Valerie, she says she's the sister. What she leaves out is she's the campaign manager. Now, what do campaign managers get? Money, all right? And what does her husband get? Money for running this subcontract and that subcontract. It was all, now you could probably make the case, letter of the law, this was, no, I don't think it can actually. I mean, how can anybody say with a straight face that this is legal or appropriate? Frank Biden, non-lawyer, during a commercial for a law firm.
I'm Frank Biden. I'm the non-attorney senior advisor to clients statewide who need diversified business solutions through the Berman Law Group. I'm available for consultation with attorney Teddy Berman in any of our offices statewide.
All right, I want to see you in Pensacola tomorrow at 8 in the morning. I mean, come on. This is Inauguration Day. But they didn't just start cashing in, when Joe became president. It happened all along. Let's go all the way back now to 1977. The Wilmington Morning News, the local paper there, reporting that James Biden, younger brother of Senator Joseph Biden, is quitting the nightclub business after running up more than $700,000 in debts on the Seasons Change Club in less than 4 years. Wow, these guys are bad businessmen. Senator Joe Biden was never involved in the club, of course not, or its financial dealings, no. But once made a telephone call on his brother's behalf to A. Edward Stanforth, who was then chairman of the bank. All right, and what did they talk about? When the loans were publicly disclosed last winter, Joseph Biden told reporters he faulted Farmers Bank officers. It's the bank's fault for lending us the money. Some banks are probably really kicking themselves that they ever did business with the Bidens because they can't call loans the way you can, I think, with regular people. And what about these checks, huh? I mean, this is just, it's got the $40,000 from James Biden to Joe in 2017. What the hell is this? $200,000 loan repayment. The 35, it seems a little bit like money laundering. I don't know how it works. I don't profess to have all the answers, but at least we're asking the questions. At least we're wondering. You think CNN is going to mention anything about the very obvious potential corruption, Joe Biden and others? No. It's one of the reasons why it's going to be such a disaster tomorrow night.